Welcome to the concept of logistics management. Logistics management generally consists of the process of planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient flow of raw materials, work in progress, and finished goods related information from point of origin to the point of consumption. That is, from the organization to the customer, with a view to provide satisfaction regarding the usage of the customers. In other words, we can definitely say logistics is the method, should I say, of controlling the supply of the product, energy, information, and other resources like services and people from the source of production to the market. As you can see in the PPT itself, that Philip Kotler, a famous person, has described or defined logistics. Market logistics involve planning, implementing, controlling, and physical flow of material and final goods from the point of origin to the point of use to meet the customer requirement at a profit. These definitions, whatever we have talked about up to this point of time, implies that an integrated view of a number of different activities or functions might be required. No activity that relates to marketing or manufacturing can take place without the support of logistics. Logistics comprises, should I say, the activities like the integration of information, the act of transportation, the method of inventory, warehousing, materials handling, and packaging. Initially, the actual work of logistics was thought not to be of that important to the organization. And yes, at a certain point of time, the actual work of logistics is supportive in nature. But logistical support is a must for manufacturing and marketing operations. The concept of logistics is based on a total system view of the multitude of functions in movement of materials and goods from the source of supply to the users. The major role of logistics in an organization, we can generally talk about the importance of logistics in an organization, as it is an very important behind the scene operational activity, but it is of foremost importance in creating customer value and loyalty. If we take some examples of the global giants, like we have heard of the organizations named Walmart, Coca-Cola, or even a famous organization like Nike, they kind of attribute a large share of their success to their global logistics systems. Means they really understand the importance of the logistics, as they have talked about in various kind of way that integration of activities with the organization across the pipeline where the logistics operations are done are absolutely essential in order to build a competitive advantage over the definitely the competitors. So basically, in short, this is the concept of logistics management. In any kind of business, there are essentially two different forms of logistics. They may either have an internal focus or an external focus that covers the flow of the activities from the producer to the customer. Those with internal focus coordinate a series of resources in order to set a project in action. On the other hand, should I say, the external focus optimizes the steady flow of material through an arrangement of transports to the particular customer usage points. So basically, logistics might be broadly classified into two categories. Those are inbound logistics and outbound logistics. Inbound logistics are those kind of logistics which are concerned with the smooth and the cost effective inflow of materials and other inputs from the suppliers to the plant. In the particular, should I say, diagram, you can see that inbound is basically divided into two particular part. Those are supply and plant. So from the source of supply, the material those that comes into the plant are treated as inbound logistics. As for the proper maintenance of inbound logistics, the management has to maintain a continuous interface with the suppliers. And the other kind of thing or other kind of logistics that happen is called outbound logistics. And outbound logistics, for your information, might also be called a supply chain management. This particular term, outbound logistics, or you can say it to be physical distribution, or you can say it to be supply chain management, is practically concerned with the flow of finished goods and the other related information from the firm to the customer, or from the organization to the end user or the customers. For proper management of outbound logistics, the management has to maintain a continuous interface with the transport operators, and most importantly, create a smooth channel of distribution so that no lacking or logheads are absolutely created during the distribution. These are the classifications of the logistic activities. The significance or objectives of logistic management can be easily said that one of the major significance of logistics management is that to reduce the cost and to maximize the profit of the organization. The organization can definitely reduce the cost or maximize the profit by improving the materials handling, by ensuring the safety, the speed and economical transportation of materials, and most importantly by selecting the optimum number and convenient location of the warehouses. If these above mentioned points are kept in mind with the organization, then the organization definitely can reduce their cost and most importantly subsequently can maximize the profit. Another important point that comes into my mind while talking about the objectives of logistics management is that the inbound logistics helps in efficient flow of manufacturing operations. On-time delivery of materials is very important. Most importantly, the proper utilization of materials and semi-finished goods in the production process is very vital to keep the wastages in check and most importantly keep a smooth flow of materials. So definitely these are the points which the logistics management ensures while talking about the efficient flow of manufacturing. The third most important significance of logistics management is that in the previous slide or in the beginning slide also I have talked about the logistics management providing a competitive edge or competitive advantage over the competitors. How logistics management can provide the organization with it, because if a proper logistics management is maintained, then definitely the sales of the organization will skyrocket because the better customer service is achieved. Most importantly, arranging for the rapid and reliable delivery, and most importantly avoiding errors in order processing helps the organization to gain the competitive edge over the competitors. Another most important significance is that logistics management can create an effective communication system. Why effective communication system is required for the organization? Because in both cases, whether we are talking about inbound logistics or we are talking about outbound logistics, the effective communication with the suppliers, that is what we mean by inbound, and the rapid response to the customer inquiries, that's what we are talking about, the outbound logistics, helps the organization to create an effective and efficient information system so that the logistics management is absolutely up to the mark. Another most important significance of logistics management is that a sound inventory management can be created if logistics management is up to the mark. One of the major headache for the organizations, if whether they are in production, whether they are in service organization, is that how to ensure a sound inventory system. This particular sound inventory system can absolutely be cured if an organization can create a sound in should I say logistics management. So basically these are the significance of logistics management in short. Now we will briefly discuss about the key activities which are involved in the logistics management. The first activity involved in logistics management is the network design. Network design is one of the prime responsibility of logistics management. This network is required to determine the number and the location, proper location of manufacturing plants, warehouses, materials handling equipments on which the logistical efficiency practically depends. The second most important key activity is the order processing. What do we mean by order processing? The processing of the customer's order. So the processing of customer's order are very important in logistics management. Order processing includes the activities like the receiving, handling, filing and recording of orders. So in short, the management of the organization has to ensure that the order processing is accurate, reliable and most importantly on time. Management, while ensuring this, has to minimize the time between the receipts of the order and the date of dispatch of the consignment to ensure the speedy processing of the order. Delays in executions of orders can become serious grounds for customer dissatisfaction, which should be and must be avoided at any kind of cost. The third most important activity under logistics management is the procurement process. The procurement process is related to obtaining materials from the outside suppliers. The procurement includes generally the supply sourcing, the negotiation, the order placement, inbound transportation to the organization, receiving, inspection of materials, the storage or the warehousing, and most importantly the handling of materials. The main objective of procurement is basically to support the manufacturing by providing timely supplies of materials at lowest possible cost. This is what procurement is all about, which is one of the most key activity in logistics management. Another key activity in logistics management is that the handling of material. When we talk about the handling of materials handling means the activities of handling the raw materials, the semi-finished and the finished goods into and most importantly out of the plant, warehouses and transportation terminals. Management has to ensure that the raw materials, the semi-finished and the finished goods are handled properly to minimize losses. How do the organization face losses if the materials are not properly handled? Due to the breakage, spoilage and damage. Furthermore, the organization has to minimize also the handling cost and the time involved in it. Materials handling system nowadays can be generally divided into three broader parts. Those are fully mechanized system, semi-automated system which involves both human and machine parts, and lastly the fully automated systems. We'll not discuss furthermore into this kind of systems. We'll be talking it about in later any of the slides. So coming back to the next activity which involves in the logistics management is the inventory management. The basic objective of inventory management is to minimize the amount of working capital blocked in inventories, and at the same time to provide a continuous flow of materials to match the production requirements, and definitely to provide timely supplies of goods to meet the customer's demand. Management has to balance the benefits of holding inventories against the cost associated with holding inventories, like the storage space cost, the insurance cost, the risk of damage, and most importantly, the spoilage of the materials while keeping stocks. These are the most important factors which the organization needs to keep an eye open while talking about inventory. Coming back to the other activity, which are the most important activity according to me nowadays in logistics management, is the packaging and labeling. Packaging implies, enclosing a particular product into suitable packets or containers for easy and convenient handling of the products by both the seller and most importantly the buyer. Packaging facilities should and definitely improves the sale of a product. It acts as a silent salesman. A very fancy or decorative kind of packaging on any kind of item attracts customer immediately. Labeling is basically putting identification marks on the package of the product, like the date of packaging, the expiry, the weight or size of the products, what are the ingredients used in the manufacturing of the product, what are the safe handling instructions of the particular product, and most importantly, what is the MRP of the product. Labeling also can be a very strong sales promotion tool. The consumer or the customer who is persuaded to read the label may in fact or most probably will buy the product even if she at that point of time had not had any kind of premeditation. So these is, or labeling and packaging is one of the most important aspect of logistics management. Another most important aspects of logistic management is that the warehousing facility. The storage or the warehousing is that logistical activity which creates time utility by storing goods from the time of production till the time these are needed by the ultimate consumer. So the management needs to decide about the optimum number and the type of warehouses required, and most importantly, the efficient and effective locations of the warehouses. The above two decisions, if we say about the number and the location of the warehouses, depends on the desired level of customer service and the distance between the supply source and the final destination, which definitely is the markets. Another important activity, according to me, is the transportation. Transportation, I can definitely say, is the logistical activity which creates place utility. Transportation in logistics is required due to the movement of raw materials from the suppliers to the manufacturing unit, movement of work in progress from one place to another, maybe within the plant, maybe outside the plant, movement of finished good from the plant to the final users. These are the reasons why the organizations require the transportation. The major transportation systems, basically we know it very well, are the railways, the roadways, the waterways, and most importantly the airways. the choice or choosing any kind of mode of transportation depends on a certain number of considerations. What are the considerations? The speed of the transportation, the cost involved in transportation, how safe or reliable the transportation is, and how reliable the transportation time schedules are, and most importantly, the coverage of the transportation. How many locations do the transportation serves? So these are the key activities which are involved in logistics management.